And 1, 2, 3, and we're live. All right, welcome everybody to the first episode of D's Get Degrees. I'm here with my guest, Christian Reed. Say hello, folks.
How we doing, guys? And girls.
And ladies, always. Awesome. So this podcast, I am a one-of-a-kind college student, I would say. I have been to 4 different colleges in my undergrad. I have been to a private school in New Hampshire. I have been to University of Arkansas, down south, SEC. I have then went to a commuter school in the city of Boston, and now I attend the famous #1 party school in Massachusetts, UMass Amherst, otherwise known as ZooMass. And I originally went to college with my best friend and my longtime girlfriend. I have been in a fraternity. I have been a business major. I've been a theater major. Christian, you know anyone else that has that kind of background? It's very strange to say out loud.
Yeah, I definitely don't know anybody else that's been kind of all around like you have.
Yeah, and you can look at it as either I am an idiot and I can't just stay in one place, or I have a lot of experience. I like to look at it that way. So I feel like I have a great understanding of how college is at all levels, the difference between the different kinds of schools, and like what make college enjoyable. As I've been in parts of organizations, I've been in school productions for theater. I've hung around all different kinds of people. So I hope by listening to our podcast, you can get a better understanding of what people actually do in college, how to make college enjoyable, and what you are looking for in regards to majors, what people actually think about college as they're about to graduate. We'll get some freshmen on here. And yeah, so Christian, I want to talk about a little bit about your background, growing up, what you thought about college. Did either of your parents go to college?
So growing up, college wasn't really talked about much up until, I guess, high school. For me, I've got an older sister, and it was always kind of, the town I come from is very sports oriented. Everybody plays sports at a highly competitive level, and everyone kind of focuses on going to play sports in college or doing something kind of better than just like going to average school, whatever. My mom went to UNH. She was the president of her sorority there. Did pretty well. My dad, on the other hand, he went to a community college. Didn't really need school much, and then just started his own business at the age of 20. And he was successful at that. And so my parents didn't really force me too much. They kind of wanted to let me work out my own path. And then high school came around. They sent me to a private school for high school, just for several different reasons. But you know, it was a good opportunity for me. I felt like I had a good high school experience. It was definitely different than all my friends growing up, but it was cool. And then lacrosse was my big thing. I knew I wanted to play in school, so I, put in the effort and the time to be able to get recruited. And initially went to Regis College for my freshman year, played lacrosse there. Realized that the school was not up to my standards, even though the team was. So I decided to leave that school, transfer to Southern New Hampshire University, where I'm a senior now. Stopped playing lacrosse for a couple different...
So on that point, though,
yeah.
When you went to school originally, did you care about... You played lacrosse at a very high level in high school, correct?
Yeah.
So when you went to college, though, did you care? Because a lot of people thinking about going to college, they want to know, should I just go to college for sports? I love playing lacrosse. I love playing football. I love playing baseball. This small school in the middle of nowhere is offering me a scholarship to come play. So you did that. Your team was very well ranked. You guys won national championship, correct?
Conference
championship. And you ended up doing that, but why did you think after that experience that you weren't satisfied? What about Regis? Because I know Regis is a nursing school, correct?
Yeah. So initially I was kind of like, I don't really care. I'm going to go play lacrosse for this team that was the best team out there that had recruited me, and that's all I cared about. Obviously, I'd done the recruiting trips, loved the coach, loved the team, and didn't really care about the academics part. And then once I got there, I started to realize, like you mentioned, it's a big nursing school, and I was there as a global business and economics major. And honestly, I didn't do one piece of homework my entire time there and still got a 3.5. Like, it was so weak of a school as far as business, and they were so focused on nursing. And I started to kind of realize, like, as I matured throughout that year, that lacrosse wasn't going to bring me anywhere in life. You know, like, the chances you play professionally and make a living off that right now in America is very, very small, just because professional lacrosse, like, isn't that popular. So I knew that I had to kind of pick my priorities, and school was going to be more important than lacrosse.
But on that point, a lot of like this newer generation that I understand too, it's like really not about being rich per se, it's about following your dreams. So
Right.
like as like I wanted to be an actor, so I went out and started acting. I got paid. My family was always like, well, you got to go to college, you got to get a business degree, you got to actually do something that makes a living. But I always thought that you should do something that you love.
Right.
But what was the difference? Now the more I think about things, I feel like you don't actually do like what do you actually love is more what some people like things because they're good at them, right? So like, were you more in love with lacrosse, do you think, now looking back on it, or did you just kind of you were good at it and you used it to prove a point? Like you wanted to show that, like you wanted to work hard, and working hard got you to that level of being able to play in college.
I think there's definitely a mixture there. Obviously, I love the sport because I put so much time into it. But there's definitely an aspect of being like, all right, I'm actually good at this thing. Maybe I can use it as a point to prove, like, you know, I was one of, I think, 3 kids out of my graduating class from high school that went on to play college sports. And that was kind of like a, you know, honestly, probably like a little bit of an ego booster, and that was probably subconsciously some sort of motivator, I guess, there. But as I matured, like I said, I kind of realized, like, you know, that doesn't really matter, and I can still play lacrosse in men's leagues and still have fun with the sport, but follow my actual dreams. So,
Well, the more of like look back into because sports, like the way we look at them now, have not really always been that way. Like growing up, sports were kind of a thing where it was a child's game. So like professional athletes making incredible sums of money the way they do now was not the way it was for the older generations.
right.
Where so they would do like, well, the older generations, I think they look at the world more as like, you got to get a job, you got to have a family, you got to be stable, and don't have dreams. Now, I don't think it's that way, but I also don't think that we live in a part now where everyone's kind of chasing dreams that they aren't really even their dreams. They're doing it more for their ego in a sense, right? Where sometimes you need to look at yourself and be like, why am I actually doing this? Do I like this, or do I like that I get attention from it? And that could go back to your point where, what is your major now, Tanu? You're a business major?
Yeah, small business management.
And but you had like a change of heart, right?
Yeah.
Halfway through, so you were a freshman at Regis, and then you came to SNU your sophomore year.
Yeah. So I ended up coming to SNU and continued on the business track and stuck in school. And then obviously, as you know,
I know our audience may not know.
Yeah. So halfway through my sophomore year at SNU, I started to really seriously consider the military. And I didn't really talk to anybody about it because I knew it was going to be something that was very surprising to anybody that I told, just from people who know me. Probably would have never guessed that I would do, you know, upper middle class white kid preppy from Bedford, New Hampshire would go and join the military. But I had a conversation with my dad, and he said that his biggest regret in life was not joining the military in some way. And I kind of felt like, you know, I don't want to live my life like that. I want to prove to myself that I can do it. And I also want to, you know, I want to do it. It gives you a big opportunity for life experiences and stuff like that. So I left school last spring, so the second semester of junior year. Left on January 2nd for the entire semester to go complete my basic training and my advanced training for the U.S. Army, and then came home in May, and now I'm just finishing up my senior year.
Now, when you look at that, did you say that you gained more life experience from the military and the training and the values they instilled, or would you say more from what you've learned in college, right? So we're part of the same fraternity, and we've had a lot of like great lessons that we've learned. I think in life, the only way to actually learn something would be to actually go out and do it. You can't really instill values. You kind of need to like find out what your values are yourself.
Right. Yeah. I think honestly, right now, like looking at myself now, I think you could probably say that from knowing me before and after me coming home, I'm definitely a different person. But I feel like I've combined the values that I've learned throughout my college education and the military. I kind of picked out the ones that fit me the best and stuck with those. So I guess the way I kind of look at it is like I'm using it as the best of both worlds, pretty much. And so that's kind of where I'm at with the combination of military and college.
So you think that now, though, looking back, would you have gone to the military if you could have right out of high school, or do you think college is important? But what is your plan for after you graduate? Because you also came in, you had the photography business, correct? So you already ran a successful business on your own. You probably didn't even need to go to college if you didn't want to.
Yeah, so I mean, naturally, I've gotten a very entrepreneurial mind. I'm always trying to start businesses or learn more about starting businesses. And for me personally, you know, a lot of kids go directly to the military right after high school, and for them that path works. I've got a bunch of friends from growing up that did that, and it's worked out great for them. But you know, that's also not the right path for everybody. And I've also met a lot of people that kind of did the same thing as me, is they went to school and then decided, you know, partway through school, like, oh, maybe the military is a good path. And so I definitely didn't need to go to school per se. That photography business you mentioned, actually, I left that, and the friend I was doing that with.
Can you explain a little bit what that was?
Yeah, so we started this in kind of the senior year of high school. It was a photography business where basically we created virtual house tours for real estate agents, and
so if you're, for example, you're going to go online, you're looking for a house,
right?
They'll see the pictures of the house. So if you're going online, any website, you want to buy a house, you see all these pictures of what the inside of the house looks like, so you can do a virtual tour through the website. So that was you were going to these houses, taking these pictures.
Yeah, so we kind of started out with that, and then after I left, my business partner, who we're still good friends, he ended up starting to get a lot of opportunities with filming commercials, and he didn't go to school at all, and he's a year younger than me, a year younger than you and I, and he now lives in Hollywood, and he's doing very, very well for himself.
And what gave the idea for you guys to do that? Was that his idea, and you just had you've liked photography in the background, you like taking pictures? How did that start? What made you, obviously being an entrepreneur and thinking of that kind of thing, but.
So he was the one that kind of had the more photography background. He got me into it, but he kind of started with that. And I started with the real estate background. I've always been super interested in real estate, and I had done a couple of internships and worked closely with some real estate agents and saw that kind of side of the business as far as almost a marketing thing. And so we kind of just came up with the idea together. I used my connections with the real estate industry, and he used his kind of photography skills and background to kind of come together and create that.
And then how were you able to who was your first contact? So he obviously with the photography background, you with your real estate background, was that something you looked online? Because and you were like, oh, I wonder who does that, and you got like, oh, we could probably do that, or did someone you know tell you that that was a possible opportunity?
Someone I had known, I knew they were doing that. Those, you go on Zillow or whatever, and you look at the houses, and they have those pictures.
Yeah.
The agent I knew personally, she was taking them herself, and I kind of thought, like, well, what if there was someone that would do this? And I knew that there was something like that out there. There definitely is. There always has been. But we wanted to kind of up it a little bit, and he had a drone. And so with the virtual tour, and we're not, I won't say that we were the first person to do this, but we would basically fly the drone through the house. So it's like you were walking.
So it's like you were literally doing
walking
it.
through. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I've definitely seen that online before, but there was no one in our area that we knew of that was doing it. So we decided to kind of capitalize on that opportunity. And it actually helped us that we were younger, because there was a lot of agents that were like almost impressed that we had decided to do this, that they just wanted to help us out.
Exactly, because most people, it's kind of how, if you ask, like, if say you're interested in a career or something, go find someone in that career and ask them about that, because most people want to talk about themselves, and most people like to see young people interested in the same thing they are. But so yeah, they obviously, that helped, and we were both very talented, so it wasn't like you were just they're throwing you a bone. Like the pictures were good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of gone by that. If you're interested in a career or some sort of path, find someone that is in that path, and all you have to do is ask. Send them an email, find out their phone number, give them a call, because people, like you said, people love talking about themselves, and if they have the time, they'll talk to you. And
usually everyone has the time, no matter how busy they are. Because we like to all say that we're so busy and jam-packed, but then you'll sit there for an hour and play Xbox, or you'll watch Netflix, or you'll sit on Instagram for an hour. So it's not like there's always time for doing things that you actually enjoy or want to learn about. The problem is finding something that you actually want to learn about. And what do you do? What would you say now after the military? Did the military teach you something about like very time strict? Again, like you have boot camp where you're doing like waking up at a certain time. Everything needs to be made properly. How has that transitioned to your everyday life now?
It definitely was a big shock to me, I guess. I've always been used to a strict schedule, I guess, but there's always been leeway with that,
Well, it's kind of like how your college schedule, right? How strict is it? It's like, oh, I have an 8 a.m. class but on Friday, but I was out for Thursday, and now I'm not waking up.
Yeah.
But guess what? There's no repercussion on you missed a class, but you can, if there's attendance doesn't required, you can just text one of your friends to give you crap.
Exactly. Yeah, so it definitely instilled a lot of discipline in me. Not to say that I wasn't disciplined before, but it was definitely a big life-changing kind of event or series of events for me, where meeting certain deadlines or time restrictions became very important to me. And the number one thing is basically getting something done no matter what, really. Because there's going to be times in life, no matter what you do, where you have to get something done. You may not have the right resources or the ability to do it, but you got to figure it out.
Well, I think that's a real big problem that they don't really teach you, right? So I feel like school is more of a memorizing facts, right?
Exactly.
The real successful people, like the reason you get paid in life is because you can solve a problem, not because I know about a subject. Now, knowing about a subject can go to helping someone solve a problem, but most people, the way school teaches you in high school, right? So they give you have a class, history, professor goes over history, gives you dates, gives you things, gives you times, and then you have a test where you have to pretty much just regurgitate everything you memorized.
Right.
So that's why like everyone's cramming before their finals, everyone's doing all this stuff, but you don't learn the information. Learning is like actually understanding why. So if I throw you a fact like most college students are liberals, okay, so most college students are liberals, and then but then you need to understand why most college students are liberals.
Right.
So it would be like liberals want certain things, like they want Depends on who you ask. Like a Bernie Sanders. Why do college kids like Bernie Sanders? Because he was like, we should just get everything for free. Whereas most college students, right? A lot of us have lots of debt. We just kind of want everything handed to us.
Right.
So therefore, we're like, that makes sense why college students. But if you don't know anything about college students or you don't understand a background in something, you can't really apply that information. That's really what problem solving is. Seeing a problem and using your ability to solve that. And that's what college, I don't really think, does a good job of teaching you.
And I think kind of my philosophy on college is, well, I guess as far as grades just show a reflection of your ability to listen to directions, because I know so many kids who are super smart and they just don't get good grades because they don't learn that way, or they don't, like, for me personally, college was definitely not for me. I'll tell you that right now. As someone who's almost done with school, college was not for me. Like, yeah, obviously all the partying and all that kind of shit that comes with after going to class was awesome. But
in reality, how awesome, like we tell ourselves that is awesome, I think, more due to the fact that college is such a waste of money. You need to prove why it was worth it in some point, right? Does it really actually, is partying really that fun? I feel like hanging out, like the best experiences you look back on in your life, just in my case, my memories are with my friends where, yeah, maybe we're drinking a beer, maybe we're doing something, but it's not that my best time in my life shouldn't be some random party where I got blackout at.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Like, yeah, parties are fun. You and I both have been to some crazy parties, but I totally agree with that.
I've probably been to way crazier parties I've been to 4 schools.
I definitely agree with the fact that I'd rather spend a night with, my group of friends and have, instead of being in a house with 200 other random people that I don't know or care about, and like being sweaty and smushed in a room.
But like, why is that fun, right? Because you're drunk? But the thing is, when you're drunk, anything that's stupid is fun. But therefore, is that actually fun? Or is that being drunk makes anything fun? Therefore, being drunk is fun. But being drunk really isn't fun, because a lot of people that you talk to, they'll say they like being drunk because, they can be more of an asshole. They don't care as much.
Yeah.
Where it all comes back to, if you're truthful about things, you're actually having a way more fun time. The reason people like being drunk is because no one really likes to be themselves all the time, but when they're drunk, they can be themselves because they're not thinking about it. But if you just yourself all the time, you wouldn't really care, per se.
Well, I think a big thing about like partying and drinking and stuff, especially in college, is that it's just become almost an accepted, like, that's just what you do. So people feel pressured to do it. I guarantee you walk around any college campus that has a decent population and there's parties, the kids that don't go to the parties or don't party you're probably going to look at them as like, oh, what a nerd or whatever,
Exactly.
And that's just kind of how society's come up. And I think that's kind of like sad in a way, because like, you don't, like, partying is not what college is about as much as people think about it is. And
that's what, but in reality, everyone goes, like, now you are told you need to go to college to be successful. But why do you need to go to college to be successful, right? You started a business out of high school, you could have been successful. Why did you need college? Because the difference between you and the degree is what? You can sit in a class and pay $50,000 and be in debt, but we know kids that have paid people to do their online classes, but they have good grades. So if you can just pay for someone to do the information, why does it matter if you know it or not, right? Because you're caring more about my GPA. So therefore, but is that also being intelligent, right? If you know that it doesn't matter. It's like, you got to look at I feel like people that are criminals or terrible people, they're actually probably more intelligent than your average nice person, because nice people, they don't see anything wrong with the world. They just kind of follow the system. Where people that you can cheat, break the system, that actually takes way more intelligence. Some people are dumb and they just don't have like a moral system, right? They're like, they don't see why it is wrong.
Right.
And that's just like a broken clock is right twice a day, right? That kind of thing. But most like people, like, so being a business major, right? And I'm being part of a fraternity at Southern New Hampshire, Snoozoo, LOL. You like around people that they don't really know anything else. Most of the kids you'd say in our fraternity, they are from your similar background, very preppy. Were you partying in high school?
No, I mean so the tough part with my school is like we all lived so far away from each other, like because our school is a private school. Like I lived about 35 minutes from my school, and most of my friends did too, but in opposite directions. So
yeah, it wasn't like a public school. You weren't like 15 miles apart.
My closest friend in high school lived an hour away, so it was hard for us to throw parties because it had to be planned out way in advance. Like yeah, obviously we drank sometimes, but there was never any big parties. I know the only parties I went to in high school were with my friends from my hometown at like parties that they had thrown from our public school, you know?
Yeah. And then that's the thing too, right? So I grew up in my mom kind of let me do whatever I want. And like, I wasn't a bad kid by any stretch. But I grew up being able to, like come back as late as I want. I was the friend that was like, hey guys, let's go drink. I was there. If you think about all the people in high school, I feel like I was there for the first time they probably smoked weed or they drank beer. Yeah. Exactly. And then think about why is that a good thing, right? And that's a problem a lot of kids, right? It's like you grow up thinking, it's like, how many times have you been like, I can't believe they told me smoking weed was bad as you smoke weed, right? It's like, well, is it smoking weed really good? I don't know. But in high school, when you don't do that stuff, you come to college and you see everyone doing it. You're just in such a rush to fit in and that you almost like overdo it, because it's like when you do anything, most people when they start doing something they like, they want to do it all the time. They don't do moderation. They just want to keep doing it over and over and over again. And that really, it's like when you hear a song on the radio and you love it and you just want to keep hearing it over and over again, and then after like 3 days you're like, okay, if I just play this song on repeat, I don't like it anymore.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like because my school was very a very conservative school. Obviously, it was a Catholic school, so it was pretty strict. And then a lot of the kids that went there were extremely sheltered kids. And I've seen a lot of the kids I graduated with from high school who were very sheltered go to big schools and like almost lose it because they get one taste of a party their freshman year, and then that's all they do is because they never got the chance to. They never got the chance a little bit, and now they're screwed because they were sheltered so much, and now that's all they want to do.
It's almost better. My dad was like the strict one, and my mom and dad went to college together. They were high school class couple, and then I ended up going to college with my girlfriend who I dated for 3 years in high school, and my family was always so worried because I was born in high school. I mean, I was born in college, so my family was like, "Don't be us," but they never got married, and like. I grew up just thinking, I know a lot of people's parents nowadays are getting divorced, I grew up with my parents were never together, so I never thought it was weird, and I didn't really have to I knew they were never together, so I didn't really have to have that awkward thing that goes on when people get divorced, but my mom was the parent that, go do whatever you want, just learn. My mom didn't really like to punish me because she was like, if you did something stupid, if you got bad grades, if you got caught drinking or something, you'll learn from the repercussions that gives you, right? So if I get bad grades, I can't go get into college, which is a scam because you realize they exist except everybody. It doesn't really, unless you want to go to Harvard. Or my dad was like, no, you need to follow my rules, blah, 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 blah. And I understand why as a parent, right? You don't want your kids to be losers, right? Most parents just want to be able to brag about their kids. Most kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? It's like most people want, you want your dad or your mom to say they're proud of you. Nothing wrong with that. But they also want to say that they're proud to everyone else's parents, to say, pretty much tell them that they're superior parents to other people's parents.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to kind of go off that, so I grew up, my parents are still together. And so I'll say I was lucky with that, I guess. And my parents were very supportive of both me and my sister of anything we wanted to do, and that they were also they had their rules, but they were lenient. They wanted us to go and learn for ourselves and stuff like that.
That's the only way you can learn is to fail.
And as part of in regards to the proud part of it, my dad, I love him to death. He's a great guy. But he's always been pretty hard on me in a very distant way. Like me and my dad aren't. Well, we've gotten a lot closer in later years.
That's usually what ends up happening.
Yeah. But I grew up, a mama's boy, and
as we all are.
Yeah, and my dad was, very tough on me with sports. He was always my coach, always bringing me to practices, paying for me to go to clinics, camps for every single sport I played, and it really kind of came to a head for me when in high school lacrosse was my only sport that I played, and I remember my dad travels a lot for his job, so he was never home that much when I was a kid, and he was gone in the Middle East doing business for like 3 months my freshman year of high school, and he came home like on like a Tuesday in the afternoon and drove from Logan Airport in Boston up to my school, which was about an hour and 45-minute drive, just to see my game. And I was a freshman on varsity, so I didn't play much. But he showed up at halftime, and I got put in the game right after halftime, and I ended up tripping like 15 seconds into my shift. And I only tripped because it was a wicked cold day, and I'd warmed up, for warm-ups for the game, but then my legs got wicked tight. And so I just happened to like lose my balance and trip basically over my own feet. Which
it's like you were a newborn baby.
Yeah, I looked like Bambi out there. But I remember coming off the field, and I got back on the bench, and I looked across the field, and my dad, like I said, he had just gotten there like maybe 10 minutes ago, drove an hour and 45 minutes to watch me. And he looks at me, and he saw me look at him, and he just shook his head and left. He went home, and I was like, damn. And so maybe it for some people that kind of reaction might not have worked. Might have put a negative kind of.
Well, there are two ways to look at that situation.
Right.
One, you're either going to say, I never want to experience that feeling again. And that's why, like, people that, like, love winning, per se, they don't really love winning. They just hate losing, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, my dad can look at me like that, and I never want to see my dad be so disappointed in me again. I'm going to work so hard that it never happens. Or you could have looked at, like, you could have been shattered.
Right.
You could have been like, oh my God, I'm never going to live this down. Therefore, right. What's the point of even trying?
Right. And so I kind of took it in the first option there is that, like, okay, I know that my dad was only disappointed because he wanted to see me do well. And so that was kind of my mission was, and I know deep down, he doesn't really care that much. Like, obviously he cares about me, but he doesn't care for me to be the best on the
lacrosse
team.
Player.
Yeah. He just wants me to be successful in life and be happy in life. And I know that that's
what he meant.
True meaning. But he's not a very, and he won't show his emotions very much. And so, my dad never really told me, I'm proud. Like, yeah, he would say, like, yeah, my high school graduation, I'm proud of you. But I could tell it wasn't.
It's like wow, man, you're the fattest, you're the skinniest kid at fat camp. Like, you should be able to do this. Like, it's not really impressive, right? There's very few times I feel like with most like sons and their dads. I don't know what it's like for moms and their daughters, but like, I feel like actually moms and daughters get along a lot better than sons and dads. It's like, because guys, we don't like to express our feelings. We're not going to be like, man, I love you. It's kind of like I'm proud of you, which means pretty much is your dad saying he loves you.
Yeah.
But to get him to get, like, most people's fathers, they like are very, like, they're raised by their dads, and their dads are the same way that they are to us. They don't show emotion, really, as guys kind of aren't supposed to show emotion. That's kind of how you're raised.
Yeah.
So, like, getting to a point where they're going to sit down and, like, look you in the eyes and be proud of you, it's, I don't know, you, like, when your dad does get it and it gets that point, you really do feel it, I feel like, as a son.
Yeah, I think, and that point for me was, because, like I said, my dad is not a very emotional person at all. Like, I've maybe seen him cry once in my entire life, maybe twice. Well, yeah, 2 times. And the second time was the day of my basic training graduation. And that was the first time that he told me, like, he had said, I'm proud of you, and he was crying. And that that was like the first time where I was like, wow, he
means it.
He means it. And I think part of it is because dads often subconsciously live through their sons vicariously a little bit.
Well, 100%.
You know, they want their kids to do what they didn't get the chance to do. And so as much as they're going to support their kid and whatever they want to do, they're always going to, you know, cater to what they wish they had done. And so that was kind of a big thing for me. And some people might have stopped there and been like, all right, cool, my dad, you know, finally meant it. Now I made it.
My life is. My dad can fuck off.
Yeah,
now. I don't go to hell. What the hell he
but
does.
for me, that was just kind of like all right, wow, that was awesome, and I wanted.
You want to feel that again?
Feel it again, and that's kind of been my motivation subconsciously since then. For the past about year and a half now, it's been like, all right, I'm not like, and not just my dad, but my entire family, and
just the people that care about you.
The people that care about me. And I mean, us as fraternity brothers, we see that in, you know, within our brotherhood too, is we obviously are all very close. So we want to see each other do well.
I want to stop you there for a second though, because as someone, so my roommate at University of Arkansas, shout out to Jake, I was part of Kappa Sigma. And Kappa Sigma, so University of Arkansas has a 71% Greek life. So they have those huge. That means 71% of the campus population, and campus population is 1,500 students. Did I say that number right? It's 15000. Yeah.
Wait,
for 15,000 or 15,000? Yeah, 15,000. Sorry, but so they have. So think about 71% of those people are associated with Greek life, and Fayetteville is a college town. So there are 25,000 people that live there. So that means 10,000 of them aren't college students, but the rest are. So that, and 71% of those people are involved with Greek life, whether that be a sorority or fraternity. And my roommate, Jake, he was part of the biggest fraternity at University of Arkansas. They are worldwide, have the most fraternity members out of any fraternity at like one school. So like they had like 371 brothers. So to put that in perspective, my pledge class was 9. Right? No, hold on. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My pledge class was 7, but we started with 8. Shout out Garrett, you're still my back. But the thing is, so his pledge class was around 40 something, and so people that are in this fraternity are the Waltons. If you're familiar with Walmart, then you know who the Waltons are, and Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. So some very prestigious people in this fraternity. And they are, as he was a senior, I was a junior, and he would tell me that he doesn't really know the young guys. And obviously when you have 371 people in one group, yes, you're not going to know everyone. It's going to be ridiculous. And the older you get, the more, like most seniors, especially when it comes to like fraternities and going to meetings, if senior at college, you kind of don't care. It's like being a senior in high school, senioritis. You just like don't want to do shit that you don't feel like doing. But he would go to these meetings, and he had like his small group of 10 friends. And yes, everyone in his fraternity cared about him. But how can this idea that we all need to be friends in life is stupid. I don't want to be friends with everyone because not everyone has my same opinions. But that's like, you don't need to have the same opinions to be my friend. But in a big fraternity, just because we're brothers, that doesn't really mean anything, right? The people like if we were friends outside of fraternity, we'd still care about each other because we're friends. It has to do with brotherhood because we have a bond through our experience, which makes us have to know each other. But the idea that like every single person in your fraternity like deeply cares about you, I just think that's a false thing.
100%. But and what's like what I think you were like getting at there with describing how large that fraternity is, like ours, we go to a much smaller school, and our fraternity is I mean right now I think we've got like 30 brothers right now. But I mean as you know, like, so we know in a organization that big where there's like 300 plus people, or even my mom's sorority, she was president, and she had 100 sisters. Like she didn't know everyone.
No.
And that's like, that kind of defeats the purpose to me of Greek life. And a lot of people may not, who are listening may not understand much about Greek life.
It's like your sports team, right? Like
right.
If you're on your baseball team, think of it like, yes, you will have your close friends in it, but you're all a team, right? You all want to win. You all are happy when. Well, I mean, I guess some people are selfish, but we'd like to think
you have a common goal.
Yeah, have a common goal. You all want to win. So someone on your team and your baseball team hits a home run to walk off. You all win. You're all happy. Someone in your fraternity does something good and is successful. You are proud of them because they're part of your team. But at the same point, too, most people are more selfish than I think we'd like to admit, right?
100%, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm on a baseball team or I'm on a lacrosse team, but I'm the best player on the team, so I think I'm better. So I want to score the goals because I'm better. And there are people out there, I'm sure people listening, or maybe you're that person, where if you don't score or you don't get your way or something, or someone else in your family or friendship group, like there are people in relationships with their girlfriend or boyfriend where if their girlfriend does something good, they take the attention away from them and they're upset with that.
Right.
Whereas people like to be a part of something, but a lot of people like to be the leaders of something too. And that is something that I think that this younger group, people growing up, all of us, that we're kind of like losing the ability to determine who's a real friend and who's a fake friend. And most of us hang out with people that we don't like, in the sense where we hang out with people, we don't like people for who they are, but for the actions that they give us, right? So I'm friends with people, when I want to drink, they like to drink, so they're my friends because I like drinking.
Right.
Like in high school, when you're in high school, you are friends with people because you're in high school. When you graduate, you will not talk to those friends because they're not your real friends. They're your friends in science class.
Yeah.
Your friends in class. My fraternity brothers, who I know that I do not talk to anymore, that have graduated. Not because I hate them, but because they weren't really my friend to begin with.
Right.
But also put in comparison that I feel like my best friends are someone I don't talk to every day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've got, for us, and I know you can relate to this too, is like you've got your best friends from home that you grew up with, that obviously besides Dan, but for me, I have my best friends from home that I grew up with since we were 4, and I have my best friends within the fraternity, and those are two totally different. Yeah, they've met each other and we've all hung out at certain points, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's completely different, but that's okay. You've had different experiences with those people, and so I don't, my boys from home, I don't talk to them really that often.
But you don't need to.
But I don't need to, because when we see each other, when we're both home from school and we see each other because we're neighbors, it's like there was no difference in time. It's like nothing can change. It's like you saw each other yesterday, and I think that's an important part of I guess a true friendship, and I think that's a big thing of leaving high school. People are going to go their different paths. You think in high school, these friends are going to be my friends.
They're my lifelong friends.
And it's like, no. I mean, yeah, I'm still friends with my friends from high school, but there's also people that I was friends with in high school that I'll never talk to again, and it won't faze me whatsoever.
But that's the thing. There's a difference between companions, right? I think we it's like that we overuse the term love, we overuse the term hate. Like, I hate someone.
Yeah.
How can I hate it's like I hate Aaron Rodgers because I'm from New England. Tom Brady's I love Tom Brady. I don't know Tom Brady. I have never personally met Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I only know what I hear about them. So I can't actually have a true opinion on them, right? So when people are my friends, a friend is someone that I like to think is, if I tell them bad news, they will sit there and listen. I want someone, to my friend, to tell me I'm doing something wrong. Whereas most people will just be your yes men. And that's the same thing. A lot of people in us, in relationships, right? Do you want a girlfriend or boyfriend that will tell you you're doing something wrong, or do you just want them to say, I'm the best and they look pretty, so your friends are like, they're attractive. I'm better than them. They do whatever I say.
Yeah.
And some people, they're okay doing that, and that's fine. But I feel like deep down, regardless. Like, your friends are your friends, and it doesn't matter if you met them growing up or you met them in college. But the difference between people growing up and people in college is college kids only know you at your college. Like, they don't know your past, right? Whereas your high school friends, they know who you were when you were in first grade eating your boogers.
Yeah, it's definitely that's like kind of one of the most interesting things, I guess, about like growing up is like you've got these friends that you hang out with every day, and like you get off the bus from school and you like run home together and you play video games and shit like that, and then
we're getting caffeinated, boys. Sleeping over, dude. Get the Mountain Dew. My mom bought a large Domino's pizza.
Yeah, like, yo, let's stay up all night, play
Madden, Call of Duty, zombies, dude. Playing Nazi zombies, dude.
But then, like, as you get older, that kind of stuff, well, for some people, goes away. Not everybody, but
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
If you listen to the show, if not, you're probably a nerd. Either way.
But there's like you had said, there's friends that are going to be your yes man and just be like constantly, they're hyping you up and it might make you feel good, but those aren't real friends. They don't, like, your true friends are going to call you out when you're being an asshole, like, or they're going to tell you when you're doing something wrong, you're going down the wrong path.
It's like,
you need
dude,
to fix something. Like,
you're drinking every day. You need to stop. Or your boys that are your yes boys, like, dude, drinking's sick, dude. Let's get drunk every night.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I know you and I have definitely seen that firsthand within our fraternity alone. Is there's kids that have definitely been like,
Christian was burping on the side.
Yeah, sorry. That are definitely like your yes men and will hype you up and shit like that. But when it comes down to it, they may not. They're not going to know like how to react because they're all you've ever really bonded over was being like fucked up and
being the dude. We like to drink beer because that's all that matters. But
exactly.
I mean, again, I don't. The problem is, like, when you talk about drinking and partying, college and stuff, people will be like, dude, like, yeah, it's fine, man. You can do stuff in moderation. Yes, there are nights where I like to enjoy a beer. There are times like I can drink a beer and chill. But the problem comes down to is when you need to get blackout every night, when you need to get fucked up every night. Because guess what? Most happy people, they aren't doing that. And I feel like real intelligence is being able to, or real like finding yourself, right? Like this whole everything's like, let me find myself. This whole like spirituality thing is going on. It's like, dude, I can manifest my own destiny. I can find my inner self, believe in myself. Like, I feel like nowadays we don't even listen to the words that we're saying, right? What does it mean to believe in yourself?
Right.
What do you mean believe in I'm myself. Yeah. I am Jack. You are Christian. Like, I don't need to believe in myself. I need to know. You should understand why you think the things you think. Why do I think drinking is fun? Well, because I see Barstool say Saturdays are for the boys. I see Total Frat Move post a sick video. Shout out to us when we got on Total Frat Move. That was for cleaning though. But at the same point, like, so you see college is about frats. College is about drinking. So therefore you just think that's what college is about. But like, that wasn't an opinion that you formed by yourself. You weren't in college and it was like, this is fun. Most people that talk to you, right? They know things are bad for them, but they do it anyway. And they're like, yeah, I should probably stop, but it's fun. I'm like, so you said those words out loud. I know it's bad for me, but I do it anyway.
Right.
What do you accomplish by doing it anyway?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, to kind of go back to what you're saying about like it becomes a problem when you're trying to do that every night, or you're doing something that you know is a problem and you're like, whatever, it's fine. Like, I definitely went through that when I first got to SNU. Like, right after I joined our fraternity, I was like, felt like I was on top of the world for a short time.
On that point, too, can you talk about the perspective of being a commuter and being part of something, right? So, like, originally when you first came to SNU, you didn't even live on campus, right? Yeah. Can you talk about the difference between living on campus and being part of something and, like, wanting to party and then what to, like, to go home and see your family?
Yeah, so, like, definitely for me, I don't regret anything in life, but I definitely, if I had to go back, I would definitely not be a commuter when I first came to SNU. But I honestly, 100% honest, I applied to SNU as a commuter because I applied when I was still with my ex-girlfriend, and she was like insane. I was super whipped, like, I'll be honest.
But that's the thing, right? So we all like to like. I love that you were saying that, right? So the problem is a lot of us do things and we're not honest about why we're doing things, right? So like you're like people like to we love our own excuses that I can make up in my head, right? Like no, dude, it's because being a commuter, it's more. It just makes more sense. Like why do we want to be on campus? Like I'm going to Southern New Hampshire University. My mom got me in for free, pretty much. I'm not really paying much. I don't even want to, like, who cares, dude? It's college. But it's like, you need to go deeper. And, like, you can lie to yourself all you want.
Yep.
But you're lying to yourself. People, like, I like to act. I know I'm a good liar deep down. But, like, deep down, I know why I've done things. I don't know but, like, most people, I don't know if you can, like, analyze. Like I can think back to any moment in my life and analyze why I did it and what my thoughts were. I don't know if everyone does that. It seems like you're able to do that. You're being honest now.
Yeah.
But the problem is too, right? We live in a culture where it's fake it till you make it, right? They tell you that, like, if you don't have confidence, fake self-confidence. It's like, how about you just get real self-confidence?
Right.
But it's tough. I understand. Like nothing. It's simple, but it's not as simple as it should be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, kind of what I was saying is that, like, I was, I had felt that fake. Well, I guess it wasn't fake, but it wasn't genuine self confidence. Right after I got my letters and became part of this fraternity, I was like, now I've made it, and that was a short-term feeling, I guess. Obviously, I'm still very proud to be a brother of this fraternity. I still work very hard for things that we do, but that was kind of an in-the-moment thing. And that rest of that semester, dude, like, I mean, you definitely could notice I was hanging out with the brothers most of the time, hanging out with the brothers that were the ones getting drunk and hooking up with random girls all the time. And like I'll tell you right now, I was not sober for 1 minute from that first weekend of November when I got my letters until I went home for Christmas break, and like second to last week of December, I was either drunk or something else that entire time.
And if you're honest with yourself, at that moment, were you actually enjoying it, or you just thought that that's what you should do? Like, were you deep down inside, I'm sure you knew that your body will tell you because you feel like shit all the time. Right. But like mentally, did you think that you were having the greatest time of your life, or did you just think that you should think that, right? Like, it's like, truly deep down, are you happy, or do you just tell yourself that you should be happy so you are?
So like, for that, I feel like the only time in the moment, you're always going to feel like, yes, this is the best. But then once you're done with it and you look back, you're like, wow,
I can't believe I thought
have a totally different perspective on it. And I think the best thing for you to do in those situations, because everybody in life, every single person will have times when they're not making the best decisions for themselves. But the important part is if you can, in those moments, naturally you're going to think this is the best, but at some point you're hopefully going to get out of that and look back and realize, oh wait, it probably wasn't. Then the most important thing is to realize that and learn from that and kind of look into it. And for me, I'm very like in tune with myself and my emotions and my body, and I don't know, not sound selfish, but I spend a lot of time like making sure, deep down I'm okay.
Exactly.
Which is important. You should do that. And so I think a lot of times is, and this kind of theme can fit this entire episode of this podcast, that there's a lot of things that people do, and people oftentimes live their lives to do something for other people, or just because it's what society says you should do. And at the end of the day, true end of the day, you're all that matters, really.
Yes, right. So you are right, but so as someone that like I used to tell my friends like so the only thing I want people if I meet you on the street and we have a conversation, I care about you just because like I want everyone to experience the same thing I feel, right? And that is being able to say you are proud of the decisions in your life. A lot of people, you can't be upset with anything that's happened in your past because it's led you to the point you are now. Now you can change in the future, and that's what you're hoping that your past does. It affects how the way you move going forward, so you know what doesn't work and does work. But most people, they don't know what being selfish is, right? So like how can you be in a relationship if you're not happy with yourself, right? How can you say that you love someone else if you don't even love yourself?
Right.
Now, does that mean, right? Like this whole society now is like that's what it tries to portray, right? Like now I do what I want, so I'm happy. No, that's bullshit, right? Doing what you want does not make you happy. I guarantee that, right? Because doing what you want is, oh, I want to drink, I want to do drugs, right? So doing what is meaningful is what that deep down is, right? Living life what you enjoy is a luxury. Living life that is meaningful should be everyone's main objective. Yeah. And like there are a lot of people you'll meet, like, everyone knows that really nice person that's like, I don't do anything bad. Yeah, I just sit here and like, I'm just a yes person. I just want everyone else to be happy. I care. But guess what? You don't do that because you think other people should be happy. You do that because you think that is what you should be. Therefore, how can anyone not like you? I used to tell my roommate growing up, when I meet someone, I want them to think of me in I just want them to have an opinion. You never want to be that person. It's like that person. When I think of, oh, Christian, he's nice, right? And like, you want to leave an impact. Now, that doesn't mean go up to Christian and be like, dude, fuck you, you're a faggot. And then like, you're like, yo, Jack, like, oh, dude, that kid's such an asshole, dude. I hate that kid. But at the same point, if you're happy with yourself, you will never feel the need to. Any happy person will never have an outburst, right? It's like, yes, there are things that bother me, but like when I'm truly at peace, I'm never like, I hear something, I'm like, I need to just go outrage, right? It all goes back to these underlying things that like lead you to that, right? So like when you came here the first time and you joined the fraternity, why did you want to join the fraternity though, right? Like, so I came here, I joined, I met the brothers, I had a great time, but like I didn't care about the Kappa Delta Phi. I cared about the people that were in it, right?
Right.
And like at the end of the day, you care about the organization, but it's the organization. It's like the suit doesn't make the man.
Right. The
man makes the suit, right? So at the end of the day, I can put a label on anything, but it's the people that are a part of it that I enjoy. I don't enjoy, like, if Kappa was never a thing, but I met the same kids, I'd be friends with those kids.
Right.
But also, you're also friends with people in different aspects of your life when you are searching for something to learn or be whatever.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I came here to originally play lacrosse again. And that was the plan. I had already talked to the coach. I was going to transfer and everything. And then just through weird political NCAA laws, I was going to have to like redshirt and take the year. It was just going to be like too much. And I was like, all right.
And you don't care about lacrosse enough to do that.
And I was like, all right, fuck that. I don't really care that much. So, but I knew I needed something, another form of a team or another form of that brotherhood, because I didn't want to, I didn't really know anyone at SNU. And then just happened to run into some of the brothers during, the rush period. And I know how highly my mom speaks about her Greek life experience. And I was like, well, that's something, maybe this is what I should do. And looking back, it's 100% probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, because while we've had plenty of stupid ass moments doing dumb college kid stuff, and we've also like accomplished a lot and done a lot of very cool things. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities for a lot of different things through the fraternity, either alumni or just things that, Greek life organizations have to offer. So for me, like originally, I never went into it thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna join a frat. Like I'm gonna be a frat bro. Like I never thought about that.
Dude, I totally wear Vineyard Vaughn, dude. I'm sick.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. As I wear Vineyard Vines right now. But no, like I never went into it being like, oh, word, I'm gonna be able to go home and tell all my boys like, word, I joined a frat. Like,
Dude, that's sick, dude.
Yeah. So it was more of always like a bettering myself and having people around me with like I mentioned earlier, a common goal, and that's what, as far as me, that's what my experience has been so far in Greek life and most of my colleges, surrounding myself with people that have a common goal and being able to foster that and still have fun and enjoy myself and do the things I love to do with all those people.
100%. And so I'm going to go on a little tangent now, speaking on but the problem is with most of us, when you think about it, is that we are all searching for something to be a part of, right? Because most of us, I feel like, don't seek personal validation. Like, you're not proud of yourself. And being proud of yourself is what you should be, right? Where if you want to follow what society makes you think proud. I like to think of that too, is you come to college because you're supposed to get a degree. You're supposed to get a good job after, right? But most people nowadays, why I wanted to go to college, why most people don't want to go to community college, because community college is about, getting yourself in a place where you have good grades and then you can transfer to a better school, where you come to college because you want to party. You want to make these college friends. But when you talk to older adults, when you talk to people that are successful, most people, those people that were very successful, they don't even think about college. You hear a lot now that college is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life. How can you say a period is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life? The best 4 years of your life should be every 4 years going forward. You shouldn't even have experienced the best of your life. Every year you should be striving to be better. And you need to think too, right? Most things that you think will make you happy never do. And that's like material things. Madonna had a song back in the 80s. I'm a material girl living in a material world. And I think that, yeah, we probably are living in a material world. As everyone today talks about, I got the drip, I got the nice cars, I want the big salary, I got the sick internship for the big business bank, right? I'm an accountant. It's funny, most people you hear when they're talking about being an accountant, they'll have some statistics, right? They're like, well, the job placement and the job growth is about 71%, and after that, after 6 years in my field, I'll have about 150K salary, and then I will have bonus time plus overtime, and then I'll have 6 weeks off vacation. But if you're thinking about life that way, you'll never be happy, because a lot of us, we like to think, right? Like, oh, if I get this job, I'll make this much money, and with this much money, I can go on vacation. I can have a beach house. I'll have a family. I want a wife, and then then I can have 2 kids and do stuff, right? You can't plan out your life. Life just happens. And if you kind of like, the greatest things in my life have been unexpected. Most of my best friends, I'll be honest, probably didn't like me at first, because they're like, why does this kid like to joke about stuff? Why does he sound like an asshole? But then like they get to know me and like, oh wait, hey, maybe this kid actually kind of knows what he's talking about. It's like being able to see the world and understand why people do things, I think will make you one of the most intelligent people you can find, because when you understand why people do things, you can learn why not to do things. And if you find out people are just doing things to make other people happy, which I feel like is part of growing up, that's why most people, they don't want to go to their first high school reunion, because they think of themselves like, oh, I'm not in a position where like I can brag, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then like 40 years high school reunions, everyone just misses people that they used to know, because you have a family. And it's like, if you chase this like money and fame and like having people that you don't know care about you, having all these likes on Instagram for people that you'll never talk to, right? Like, how many people do you know that you follow on Instagram, Snapchat, all the stuff? You know pretty much everything about their life because you see their story, you see them. Yet you see them in public and you have no idea what to say.
Yeah.
It's like, but we're friends, right? Because I know everything about you. But like, so I know everything about you, but we're not friends. So like, how is that? Why do I care about someone that I'm not friends with? It's like, it's kind of finding that respect. And like, I don't want to say social media is bad. I don't want to say that drinking's bad. I don't want to say that college is bad. I want to say that just because someone's done it before you doesn't mean that you need to do it too. But at the same point, you need to stop thinking that you are this exceptional being of like awesomeness. Like you are at a point, you like, oh, Bill Gates dropped out of college, and like Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college, therefore I could drop out of college. Like, well, guess what? They were in college for the same reason that like probably you're in college, because society told them to do it. They were at very prestigious schools,
Exactly.
and they didn't need college. Most successful people in the world didn't go to college. Like, they dropped out. They thought it was stupid because you can start a business without college. But now we're at a point now where most of you don't even know what you want to do, so you'll go get a business degree, you'll drink, you'll party, you'll get a 2.5, and then be like, why? What? I don't get offered like a job because I got a degree? What do you mean I don't get offered a job because I don't get a degree, right? Yeah. And it's like, no, you get offered a job because you're someone that a company thinks is intelligent. I always find it funny when I work for people. I've worked a lot of interesting jobs in my life because I don't like to do, like, I could never work at like Taco Bell. I worked at Taco Bell 3 days for 3, because we used to hang out at Taco Bell in high school all the time, and I worked there for 3 days, and I was like, I can't, this is so boring. I can never do this. Whereas my dad used to be like, you just need a job that gives you good hours. I was like, I can't do stuff that I don't kind of enjoy.
Right.
But where I was like going on this tangent, that most people, they will like not understand that, hey, if you can do that, good for you. That doesn't mean that you're less. You have to do it, or you don't have to do it.
Right.
If you enjoy working at Taco Bell and you get happy pleasure every day working at Taco Bell,
do it.
Do it, man. You don't think that like just because you don't find, like, you find fun in like mundane things, you like writing papers, you like doing accounting work, that you should feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about what you enjoy, unless if you truly enjoy it. But if you do think about like what you like, why you're doing something, and you come to realize that it's because your parents told you should, or society tells you should, or because you want something artificial from that, right? You want this big salary to boost your ego. No, love is doing something because even if you didn't get paid to do it, you would do it. Or if you didn't like something, you would, like, if society told you it was wrong, which is like, if you love murder, don't murder people, because that is wrong. It's, you got to have morals. That I feel like is what it comes down to at the end of the day. And you need to figure out what makes you a fulfilled person. And you need to realize too, everyone's like claiming they want some legacy, but guess what? When you're dead, does it really matter what people think about you? Like, if you find meaning every day because you work as a manager at a grocery store, and you have a loving wife and you have 2 kids, and you come home and you get to go see them play soccer, is that really a bad thing? Or if I'm CEO of Apple and everyone I know hates me because I'm a scumbag and I stepped on every foot or I did something, it's like, I don't know, what life do you want? That's kind of what you need to think about deep down.
Yeah, that's what I think. I 100% agree with that. That's what it all comes down to, is like, and I mentioned this earlier, it's, at the end of the day, you're who matters. You're gonna die with your own thoughts. That's all. That's what I think about a lot.
Yeah.
And
if society thought you were cool and you died, guess what? You know deep down what you really think,
exactly.
And it doesn't matter what I think of you or what someone else thinks of you. And like, that's the same way, right? If 2 people listen to this podcast, I'm not making this, like, I don't want people to be a fan of Jack. I don't want people to be a fan of D's Get Degrees podcast. I want people to listen to our podcast and be like, relate or understand what we're trying to say. I heard that an intelligent person can take complex matters and make them simple, whereas a dumb person can take simple matters and make them complex, right? So think of people that ask questions about something that you would have never thought. Right. There's not even a point to asking. Smart people ask questions to understand things that affect. I like to ask people questions. I've always liked to know why people do things or what makes them tick. Yeah. And once you understand what makes people tick, you can get to the underlying fact, right?
Yeah.
I don't think people grow up racist. It's impossible. When you're a baby, if you saw another baby, if it was black, white, Asian, whatever, you're not going to be like, I don't want to play with that baby. You're just a baby, right? You're racist because something had to do with the way that one person was portrayed in that fact, right? So like, you thought that like we're both white, so I want to be like, so like it's like, you know, rich people are the worst because they don't care about me. So then I meet one rich person, he is the worst. But then I meet one rich person and he's really generous and kind.
Yeah.
You can't. We love to make broad statements. College is important. Learning is important. College is not a thing. College, you can go to a school with 99% acceptance rate and get a degree in
Exactly.
I don't know, butt sniffing, right? It's like, well, guess what? No one's gonna pay you to sniff people's butts unless you're
Well,
a dog.
you might.
Yeah, I mean, you might be the one person. Then that's like the problem. It's like, no, college, learning, knowledge is power, is what they'll tell you. That's understanding. Being knowledgeable is what makes you intelligent. Having a degree, if someone goes to Harvard and they just have a photographic memory and they don't understand the information, they're not intelligent. Just because you can give me facts does not mean you're intelligent. If you can be honest with me, and you need to think too, right? Anytime you've ever been honest, has anything bad, if you were honest with someone, is anything bad ever happened to you? Unless you were lying and then got, right? So like when you get in a fight with like your mom or your girlfriend or something, because you were lying and you tell them the truth, they're upset because you were lying, not because you were honest. But if you were honest, then you really wouldn't. If you're honest with a company, you're honest with someone, most people will respect that because most of us aren't honest now today.
Right. And there's definitely like there's times where you you might be honest about something that you weren't lying about before. Like I know for me, I was honest about a pretty sensitive part of my life to some people, and you know what I'm talking about, but we don't need to get into that.
But like anyways, a personal matter,
yeah, it was a personal matter, and I didn't tell anyone about it, and then I decided to be honest about it, and at first, it kind of sucked because it was a little
because you were so scared of being honest because you were scared that people wouldn't want to be your friend, or people wouldn't respect you enough to care, and that's the problem too, right? And that also shows you when you're honest about something deep down.
Then it shows you who truly cares.
And it's like if you were honest with all your friends, most people probably wouldn't have a lot of friends because you'd all be honest with each other and you'd be like, wow, we really don't like each other. We all just pretend we do, right? Yeah. And there's like nothing wrong. Like I hate this thing. It's like when you're in a relationship, are you in a relationship one because you like this person, like you like this person, or do you like that they're attractive? Do you like that they let you have sex with them all the time? Do you like something other than the person, right? When you love someone, I don't love the actions that they give me. I don't love the way that they look. I love their person that they are, right? So I think as you get older in life, you never change. People don't change, right? So like your personality you are your personality. Society did not tell you the way to act. You have been born. That is who you are. You have the personality, right? It's just your values do change, right? So if I'm an asshole in a sense where like I say my mind, I like to talk the truth, like to speak meaning. If I have good values, I will be that same person, but I will know that I can act in this certain way. Whereas if you are like not truthful about who you are, you'll start acting a way that you're not. And it's always very clear to people when you pretend to be someone you're not. Because you can tell when someone's faking till they make it. Especially when you change your personality all of a sudden. Your personality will never change. You are not a quiet person and shy. You can be shy, you can become more you can be more personable, but like if you're not the life of the party and you're not an outgoing asshole, you don't just become that all of a sudden. Like you're clearly forcing it. And like we need to just be more happy with our personality and change more why we think the things we think. If that kind of sounded like nonsense, it kind of felt like nonsense, but if you're picking up my message, good to you. Christian, your opinion on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think an important thing too is to find a balance between like being happy with yourself, but also being like humble. Like there's a fine line between loving yourself and being an asshole about it and being super arrogant and like cocky and then there's a fine line between loving yourself but also being a genuine person and not thinking that you're, well, I don't want to say better than other people, because I'll be honest with you, and I'm sure you probably feel this way too. I know for a fact I'm better than there people out there.
But
there's always, you're always going to be better than somebody else.
You're better than them in a sense that I'm not better than someone, like, I'm not better than you, you're not better than me in a sense that, like, well, like, if you have more money than me, you're better than me. No,
not that. But
like your point being that you are better than them because you are real with yourself. Mm-hmm. That if you're fake with yourself and I'm not, if you're fake and I'm real, I'm better than you. It's not because I'm more educated, I have more money, I'm more privileged. It's because I'm real. Being truthful means there are not a million ways to do some things. There are wrong ways. Society is not how you interpret it.
Yeah.
Life is, there are wrong and right things. I think a big problem we have today is everyone thinks that they are right. It goes back to like political correctness and all these things, right? Like, people don't want to be told that they're wrong, but if the only reason you get upset is because you know you're wrong, right? When most people don't want to admit that they're wrong, right? That's like in the Bible, right? Just religion for like, one, we don't really think about religion anymore, which is weird that no one, like, that's how our like society was. Every war in the history of history has been about religion, but literally we're at a point now where we don't really talk about religion. But like, right, in the Bible, Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you need to repent your sins. Now, if you look at that from like a psychological point, he's saying, if you want to be a good person, you need to accept the fact that you have done wrong. And once you can admit you've done things wrong, you don't really need, like, you'll naturally just start to be a better person. When you understand that, hey, you're not always right. We all like to look at life as we're the good guy in the movie. No, man, you can be the bad guy too. Is Hitler a good guy or a bad guy?
I mean, he was a great leader. But he's a bad, morally terrible person.
But yeah, guess what? Morally, he was a terrible person. And like everyone, that's kind of like, right, North Korea. Like you're kind of told to worship them. So those people don't know better.
Exactly.
So like, I can't be at fault with those people. And like, but at the same point, they are like, I feel bad for those people. But you need to understand. Getting off topic, we're talking about Hitler and North Korea. But yeah, I mean, if you're a history major, I don't know. History majors are dumb, but I'm just kidding. But JK. But my point being that you need to understand that you did stuff wrong. Like, you're not perfect. And a lot of us now think, no one wants to admit blame for anything. I did nothing. Everything was the other person's fault. You're in a relationship. You're in anything. It is their fault, not mine. I did nothing wrong. And if you can't admit that you've done anything wrong, you'll never change because you don't think you need to change because you're not doing anything wrong.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to be real with yourself and to like I had mentioned earlier, you got to take that time to think about. You just have to take time to think about yourself and reflect on things and all that kind of stuff, because if you don't, either you're going to keep doing the same stuff over and over again, making the same mistakes.
Which is the definition of insanity.
Exactly. Or you're going to be in a routine where that you've just accepted that that's what it's going to be, which is sad, I think. I don't want to, like, this kind of changes a little bit, I guess, the conversation topic, but I don't want to be 50 and be like looking back and be like, damn, I've had a friggin' typical desk job my entire life. Yeah, I made decent money, but like, did I really do what I wanted to do? And it was kind of funny. I was thinking about that the other day, and then, obviously I'm a senior in college, so I'm interviewing for jobs after school. So like all these topics right now that we're talking about are very relevant to my kind of current situation. And during one of my interviews the other day, the woman interviewing me was like, so I need to ask you, like, your resume is very diverse. You've got a lot of different things on here. What do you want to do? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I was like, my grandpa's 85 and he tells me every time I see him, I'm 85 and I have no clue what I want to do with my life. Like, you don't need to know. as long as you're doing something that is fulfilling to you, and then this is what I told her. I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I've taken the opportunity that I've had to put myself in a lot of different experiences and experience a lot to see what I was good at, what I wasn't. And, but I was like, at the end of the day, all I really care about is having a job that is, one, fulfilling to me. It's something that I like to do, but I'm happy in my personal life, because I feel like nowadays a lot of people are just like, I need this job. I need, like, a lot of kids, our age, seniors in college, are like, okay, I'm getting out of school. My first job has to minimum 55K.
55K. Well, that's a lot of kids, seniors in high school, right? They're like, I need to go to college so I can set myself up.
Right.
But guess what? Like, the happiest people I've ever met in my life, they met their girlfriend or their wife in, like, when they were very young. They've never really strayed away much, right? Because this whole thing, like, you need to try out a million things. When you know you love something, whether it be a career, a job, you don't need to try out everything. Like, the grass isn't always greener, and yes, sometimes the grass is greener. So that, I don't like that expression, but when you know, that is the best thing, right? When you know, Most of us don't know what we want to do, but we do know we want to be around people that care about us, and we know we want to, like, at the end of the day, a job is meaningless. If you're around people that, if you get paid money to work some desk job that you're good at, and you get paid well, and you can treat the people that you care about well, is that really so bad?
No.
That's the thing. And, like, yes, right? It's like, most of us want to be like, well, dude, I'm really good at, like, making music, so, like, I could be a sick rapper. But, like, I don't know if you can be a sick rapper or not. Yeah. I want you to push all. But at the end of the day, I can know you suck.
Yeah.
There is a difference. Like, you can believe it. I'm 5'7". I love basketball, and sometimes I can hit a jump shot a couple times in a row. Yeah. That doesn't mean if I worked really hard all the time, I could be in the NBA. And guess what? That's okay, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know, like, being realistic is, like, a very, like, you want to believe in yourself, though. Like, being realistic is very sad. Being realistic is realizing that you don't need something more than, because, like, say we lived in, like, the middle of the woods, and we were all, like, we were given food, we were given job, like, all right, we'll go get water every day for the camp, and you have people, but we all enjoy being together. Like, what is that difference than if I'm, like, in a job? Now, don't do, like, construction if you hate construction.
Exactly.
But if you are, I think we all, like, will give up good opportunities thinking for great opportunities, in a sense, right? If that makes sense. Like, you, like, say you got offered a good job, right? And it's, like, in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's this much, but, like, is it really what I want to do? No, but it will benefit me in the long run. It's the kind of same way too, right? Drinking and partying every day in the long run is more beneficial. Yeah. But in the short term, it's more fun to do that.
Exactly.
So you need to look at our whole, YOLO, you only live once. I need to live in the moment. Yeah. No, man, you can't live in the moment. Exactly. And the thing is, if you live in the moment, you'll end up doing things that will get you killed. Not in, like, a figurative, like, I'm going to die. Yeah. I mean, you might do, like, I'm going to do 30 lines of coke right now. Yeah. You only need to do, like, 2. Yeah. Not that we've done coke.
No.
But, yeah. Anyway, but, like, at the same point, it's like, if you try and live in the moment, you're going to hurt yourself in the future. And it's like, literally, you have to work. It's like, what is sacrificing? It's working hard in the moment for the future. So you need to realize, yes, right now might suck, but if you're doing something that is meaningful and you're around people that you want to be around and people that care about you, it doesn't, like, yes, it's not always fun.
Right.
It's not always, man, my dude, what, like, I'm not going to get 100 million Instagram likes if I, like, work at it, like, some job where I just help old people cross the street. But, like, dude, if I DJ in Ibiza on coke with super hot babes around me, dude, that guy's living life.
Yeah.
But we literally all know that people edit their photos, they do their stuff, and, like, girls will always talk about that girl edits her photos so bad. It's like, I never got the idea of, like, a fake photo of me makes me feel better, in a sense, right? Like, why do you like looking at a fake image of yourself? That's lying to yourself, right? Like, this idea of who you could be.
Just in the moment, it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
But deep down, you know that it's not the reality, and
so like they say it's statistically, it's like a scientific fact, right? That if you have a house, clothes, like you have shelter, clothes, and like can feed yourself, and like loving people around you, you can never be like if you have one house, a car, and clothes, you can never be more happy than that, right? You could have a billion houses, but like the more houses don't make you happy. If you have security, is what happiness is. And I like most people are like, I don't want to have kids, right? Especially like in our generation, like I want to bang. It's like the number, not. It's like I want to bang 1,000 chicks. And it's like sexuality for girls. Like, dude, I want to be a bro. I want to bang all the dudes. Like, I just ask us to really think down. It's like. Dan told me this the other day. He was talking to these girls on the girls lacrosse team, and they were like, how many people do you think you've been with? He's like they're like over 10. He's like, yeah, over 10. He's like over 20. He's like, yeah, over 20. He's like 30. He's like, well, maybe less than 30. He's like, one day you want to tell your wife that you've been with 25 people, and he's like, and then like it's like it doesn't matter, but like, so you've been with 25 people. And today, you don't have a serious relationship. We like to think that everyone else is the problem sometimes. But it's like, yes, that's cool. I have some cool stories. You have some cool stories. Of course. But at the end of the day, when you look back at those stories, when you think about them from like a realistic perspective, it's like, what did I gain from that?
Yeah.
If you do things for pleasure per se, like most of us do jobs for pleasure. Most of us like to do entertaining things, like they want to be an actor, want to be a musician, not because they truly love music, not because they want this artificial attention, right? Now, the success used to be based, if you were successful at something, you were famous.
Yeah.
But now people are famous because they're famous for something stupid,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think the underlying problem is we just want to be successful. We want to do what we like, but we don't work hard at, like, yes, if you are an incredible musician and you are extremely talented and you work hard every day, I promise you, you will be successful. Because you just can't, if you are talented and you are successful enough, you will be successful. If I am not talented and I work hard every day at something that I'm not good at, I will get better at it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be the best. Right. And the thing is, like, I don't need to be the best to be happy. But at the same point, I don't need to pretend just because I love playing basketball or I love video games or I love something that if I did that every day of my life, like how many things did you, other than friendship and people that you care about, like you've had, as you grow up, you have many different passions, right?
Yeah.
There was a point in your life where you thought lacrosse would make you happy if you could play it every day, right? But then you think about it now, you change. Exactly. What you like changes as you get older.
All the time.
So like, how can you say right now, I need to do what makes me happy because I need to be an actor, right? I love acting right now.
Exactly.
But my whole life I've loved different shit. Exactly. I came to college to be a sports management major and then I switched to theater major.
Yeah.
People switch their majors all the time. So it's like, how am I going to sit here and be like, well, no, I love acting though. And then I go down to the underlying thing that I've always just enjoyed having real conversations with people.
Yeah.
So that has led me to a thing like, now I can do a podcast because I can talk to people, I can be real. And what I've learned in my time is if you are open and honest with people, they have no problem being open and honest with you because when you show people truth, being honest with yourself is very scary, right? It's like when you tell like a girl you love them or you like tell your mom or something that you don't want to do what they want from you. It's way more scary to be honest with someone because you're scared of the rejection that may happen rather than... So when you give someone honesty, they feel like they can give you honesty back because they're not scared. When you don't give someone honesty and then you try to give someone that's fake honesty, you're terrified because you don't feel comfortable. It's an unsecure feeling.
Yeah. And I think like right now the world we live in and especially our generation is very like focused on pleasing everybody else. Like as far as, social media, either having the dopest story on Snapchat from like a Saturday night or like posting the best Instagram, like you got to post it at like 5 because that's when you're going to get the most likes and like all that shit. It's like at the end of the day, none of that matters. And I think the hardest part is that like our parents didn't grow up that same way.
And
Like,
guess
they
what?
had nothing else like that. So that's why I feel like there's a lot of relationships, whether it's just a friendship or an actual dating relationship, they're not ending well because there's a underlying I guess like underlying I guess theme to the whole basis of the relationship, that it just was based on being around someone that made you look better.
But like also,
Yeah.
here's your point being that like, right, so like the idea, right, you can slide into someone's DMs.
Right.
So the idea, we're having a little technical difficulty, almost ran out of battery life. But yes, the idea that I can slide into someone's DMs and therefore they're going to be my wife, that I'm going to tell my kids, yo, how did I meet? Well, I slid into her DMs. I told her she was looking super sexy in that last Insta post of her in the beach, is ridiculous. And not in a sense like, yes, that is how society works, but the idea too that like when you do a Tinder match, right? I am sliding right based on your look, and most girls in their Tinder bios like, I just swiped right for the dog. So then I'm like, well, I don't have a picture of my dog. Oh, why did you swipe right? Probably because I have a picture of my abs out. And, oh, that is why. Yes, that is why. Oh, okay, that makes sense, right? So you will never truly like someone based on if you just like someone based on how they look, if they change and get fat, you'll be like, you're fat, you're ogre, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
That's like where I feel like in high school, like when you're the star quarterback, you're dating the cheerleader of the football team. It's just like, we're both attractive, we're both the man. We do like, you'll date someone that has for the status.
Yeah.
That's why old dudes that are billionaires are married to hot chicks.
Exactly.
That's not real companionship or relationship. That's just like, they both benefit from that. And like the problem is like, it's so awful now almost that like, why do I need to know what your ex-girlfriend is doing all the time, right? Or like all your people that you're not like, used to be able to break up with someone and I didn't need to know what they were doing ever. Unless like I couldn't see them tweet, I didn't know their friends, I didn't do stuff. But now you live in a society where I can, if you like are friends with your ex-girlfriend's friends or anyone that you care about,
right,
you can see what they're doing at all times. And usually what do people do when they break up? They need to stick it to their ex. Like they need to post their 6 snap stories at the parties.
Right.
That's not mentally good for your mind.
No. And I feel like a lot of, like, as good as there's a lot of stuff that social media is good for, you know, it's very, it's great for, like, globalization and connecting the world globally. But at the same time, there's a lot of negative connotations to social media. And I think it all just basically comes down to is like, it's taught people that they don't need to be themselves because they can portray something online that is different than, you know, what reality is. And that was never a true thing back in the day. Like our parents grew up, they didn't have Snapchat and shit to post pictures of the parties they went to. They didn't have fucking phones or cameras. Like they had to, if they wanted to go out with a girl, they had to either go up to her and talk to her in person or freaking call their house phone, most likely have their dad or mom pick up and be like, hey, this is so-and-so, can I speak to so-and-so, you know? Like, that's so gone and so different now to the point where, like, I could go, I mean, I'm in a relationship, so I wouldn't do this, but I could go on Instagram right now and scroll through my feed and pick one girl out, find out she's single within 5 seconds, and then slide into her DMs.
Well, it's like one of those things too, right? Like, as you learn as a guy, right? Like, guys can get girls based on their job, the clothes they wear. Like, it's not, if it was based on attractiveness, probably half the population wouldn't get laid.
Yeah.
It's, guys can get laid on personality, where girls, like, it's very tough. Like, a girl, if she's not physically attractive to, like, the average male, but she has an incredible personality, I don't want to have, like,
exactly.
Right? It's like, so when most of us don't think of a relationship as someone that we want to, like, hang out with, but yet someone that I just want to have sex with. And that is what a relationship is not predicated on being the basis. Sex, it's always like, how are you guys, like, when you're 80, you're probably not that horny all the time, exactly. Right? So it's like, what are you doing?
Like, your dick's probably not gonna work.
There's, like, your girlfriend was originally supposed to be your best friend, where now as your girlfriend is the thing I can post on Instagram and be like, dude, your girlfriend's so hot, bro.
Exactly, yeah. No, I mean...
And I don't understand... Yes, I understood at one point in my life why I thought that was cool, but, like, later in life, you're like, why do I think that is cool?
Yeah.
The older you get... the problem is too, right? So, like, you talk, like, most parents right now, you talk about Instagram. My dad calls it InstaFace. Like, he doesn't even understand what the concept is, right? Like, the parents, they have LinkedIn. They're like, yeah, that's still bragging too. It's like, look at all my connections. Look at all these people. But most people, they don't even understand, like, parents in general, they don't understand, like, why people are so affected by this Snapchat. And they're like, the idea of getting bullied on the internet, some parents... that are older probably don't even understand what that means. Like, what do you mean? How are you getting bullied on the internet or by people that aren't there?
Right.
Whereas our generation, like, we're growing up, and, like, now as you get older, like, we're most of, like, the 20, like, between, like, 21 to 25-year-olds, like, now we can see if you're mature. I don't want to say you're not mature because, like, the problem is when, like, you label that I'm better than you because I think this certain way is wrong, right? Because I was in your position too.
Right.
I thought that way at one point, and now I'm just trying to let people get to the point where they can think about why they think something is important or why they think this way. But yes, my point being, yeah, when you get older and you see why people post things, what their intent is. And I'm tired of this whole concept of, I don't care when I post something. If you don't care when you post something, you are lying to yourself.
Exactly.
It's like, well, I'm posting because I want to not get likes. It's like if you're a girl and you post a picture of you in a bikini, you're going to get more likes than you a picture of your friends.
Yeah.
But you still want to let people know that you're doing stuff, right? Like,
exactly.
How many times do I need to see the same picture of everyone in front of a tapestry before they go out?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times do I need to see a picture of the boys, of us, like, yo, it's boys' night? Like,
exactly.
Yes, I understand, right? It's cool for my personal, like, photos used to be so personal, right? Like, really, you had to, like, take them, you had to get them, like, go through a photo album. Like, now it's like, I take a picture so I can post it on Instagram so people can like and comment on it. It's like, why do I care what people like?
Yeah.
It's like, if my 5 best friends like a photo, and that was the only 5 likes I got, my 5 closest friends in my life liked the photo and they didn't, I bet I'd still feel like shit because I'm like, why did no one like it? It's like, how is that, like, why do I care though? Like, why do we care? Why do we actually care deep down? It's because you want some sort of validation.
Exactly.
It's like most people want, like, it's like a lot of people you'll talk to is like, I need to do something because, like, what if I break up with my girlfriend, right? Like, what if you're not there? Like, then I need to have this shit out there so people know.
Yeah. No, I mean, totally the likes thing too is, like, crazy. It's so funny how, like, for me, like, I mean, you know my girlfriend Julia, like, she'll post, if she posts a picture of me and her, she'll get, like, I don't know, maybe 150, 200 likes.
Just a picture with her, though?
But if she posts just a picture of herself, she gets, like, 500 likes, and I just have to laugh because I'll, like, and not that I even get mad, but I think it's funny. So
I want to see the guys.
Exactly. I'll look through, and I just look, and it's like, there's 500 likes, 475 are all guys, like random ass guys. Dude, it's just so funny.
I just love that, right? So, like, you're a guy, right? You think liking, like, liking a girl's post on Instagram is like,
the same as, like, saying hi to her.
Like, sup, ladies. Like, it's like, dude, she totally saw it like that. She's probably like, know what people do when they see likes? They don't look at the names. Exactly. They're like, oh, how many do I got? I don't care what it is. And then, like, as a dude, right? You post a picture. It's like, well, when you're a dude, you post a picture, it's like, what girls are going to like it? Because, like, if you post a shitty picture, if a girl really likes you, she'll still like your picture anyway. Wale used to have a song, which was funny, and it was called Complicated, and he was like, if I really like you, girl, I won't like your pictures. And, like, that is very true, right?
Yeah.
If I really like you, I don't give a crap. I don't need to like your pictures because guess what? I'm trying to talk to you in real life. I'm trying to, like, actually, I'm not trying to be like, yo, take my hand, like, slide it. And, like,
right.
And yes, I get it. It's so easy now because maybe, like, the love of your life, right, followed you. So the guy thought you were beautiful. You thought this boy is beautiful, and then you happen to connect. I'm glad that Instagram gives that opportunity, but half the time, guys as guys when I want to have sex with someone, I don't give a shit. Like, you don't care. Like, you don't, like, I don't like this girl for who she is. I just think she's hot. It's like, it's a lot different between girls and guys.
Yeah.
But the problem too is, right, every girl thinks that when they get a bunch of likes and stuff, they're like, well, all these guys like me. Like, no, they don't. Guys don't like you probably. Like, you're probably not as cute or hot as you are. It's like, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game for both of us, right? Like, you throw enough text out there, someone's gonna bite, right? Now throw enough lines out there, someone's gonna bite. And like, I don't say this stuff to be mean, and like, maybe you'll listen, you'll be like, dude, they're just jealous or something. Like, you know, like, that's like, people, like, in their mind, you're gonna defend like why you act the way you are, right? But realistically, this is what you're doing. And like, maybe you don't even understand, like, some people don't understand psychology behind things. Some people understand why you do this. You're just like, this is why I do it. But at the same point, most people are the same as everyone else, and they know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
there's just a lot of, like, I feel like there's a lot of desire out there to be to fit the mold almost. Like for girls, you see all these like TFM or like old row. Or
before we put this, we will have girls on this podcast, so we will be talking to girls and getting their perspective. Just so we're not like, we're a bunch of guys, we know girls. It's like, dude, I've had a girlfriend, a serious relationship multiple times. Dude, I've had like intercourse with like multiple different women. I'm a man.
Yeah,
I totally know how to get laid because that's what life's about. If you don't think that, you're dumb.
Yeah, no, but like you see like all these posts like old row rad chicks or like.
Smoke show of the day.
Yeah, smoke show. It's like, all right, these girls, one for one, edit the shit out of their pictures. Because I know a handful of the girls that have been posted on Barstool Smoke Show. I know them personally. Can tell you that.
Dude, you're the man, dude. You know all these toxic
yeah, exactly, man. Right? No,
totally.
But they don't look like that in real life. But girls look at each other and are like, oh my god, I need to look like her to get that kind of attention. It's like, no, you don't.
Dude, I looked at there's this show, this Netflix mini documentary. It's called Insta-Famous, and it's about like, it's 12 different people on Instagram that are famous for different things, and it's about, each episode's about 8 minutes. And I was watching this with my aunt and my uncle. They're about to get married. They're about 28, 29 years old. So they're kind of like in this Instagram, but they just missed like the peak that we're
right.
And we're watching it because like I used to be like, I want, like, when you tell people that you want to be like doing podcasts or something, like a lot of older people, they don't understand it. One, because they didn't grow up doing it. So us, this is nothing. But these people there's this one girl. She's Latino, and she is very attractive. And she was saying that like she's an inspiration to these women because she posts an Instagram video of her pooping on the toilet. And she just wants to say attractive, like all these girls think I'm interested because, you know, attractive girls, they poop on the toilet and sometimes it smells bad too. It's like, we're all people. It's like, no, like, you know, like you're not an inspiration to young, like that shouldn't be, as a young girl, you should not be inspired by someone that is attractive and the only reason they get attention is because they're attractive. Using your body to get attraction is not an inspiration. Yeah. And that is like what deep, like, I wish people were more real. It's like, even as a guy, right? Like if I post a picture of my abs, like, or like you post a picture like trying to look like a stud or something in a suit, it's like you're trying to look cool, you know? Like it's like, okay, and some people are like, no dude, I don't care, man, I just look good and I just want like to post it. Like, yeah, okay, like if I look good, like why do I need other people to see it? It's like, well, because then they might like it and then they might slide it. You know, like it all goes back to this underlying thing. Like, I'm secure with myself, and like I'm blessed that I can say that, and like I understand. Like I'm happy every day I wake up. I know what I want. I know my friends. I now search in life meaningful things. I don't try and do stuff that other people may be like, well, I don't want to do that. That doesn't make sense. But it's very hard to get to that point, and I understand that, especially depending on where you grow up, where you live. But my point being that if you are happy with yourself, you'll understand that someone will like you for who you are, and that's what you should want. I should want someone in work. I should want someone in, like, you want a company to hire you, not because of my resume. Yes, you need something getting door, right? Yeah. It's like, realistically, some, like, a person's not gonna like if someone needs to find you a little attractive or something like right,
Yeah.
right? To come in conversation with you or need to be put in a place like you need to have something, some underlying basis of why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you want the person to end up liking you for the way I think and why I think and who I am, not what I am in a sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, like for me, I know like people probably look at me like I'm if you saw me, like for most people, I feel like if you saw me and didn't know who I was, you'd be like, all right, this kid's a douchebag.
Well, because you are a douchebag.
But I am.
Yeah, especially everything you say. But yes.
But I am. But I also like I am because I love myself and I do shit for myself. And like I don't like that everything I do is for not everything I do is for me, but I like
and everything but everything you do shouldn't be for you in a sense, right?
Right. But you I mean like you know me, you know like if you like the car I just bought, like it's very if you saw me on the highway just driving, you'd be like, all right, that kid's definitely a douchebag. But
Christian's really into cars, very expensive cars.
And so it's not something that like yeah, clearly it puts off a display.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Is exactly the most important thing, right? Just because someone is like successful or someone looks a certain way doesn't mean they're an asshole. And like just because like a good person is a good person regardless of who they are. It like doesn't matter. Like a good person will never stop being a good person. Like they're like, yo, what is a sellout? A sellout is someone that will stop being the person they are because of something that they got, right? So like the minute you get attention, you become an attention whore. Or the minute you get a bunch of likes, like you start walking around like you're the man. It's like, no. When you start getting attention or you start getting something, you should be getting attention for the person you are. But all goes back to why you start getting the attention to begin with, right? If you listen to this podcast, I hope that you just like the message, you respect that we're being real, and you take something from it. If no one listens to this podcast, a million people listen to this podcast, I'm not going to, like, you can play the lowest common denominator in life. Like, okay, like, if you are an attractive male, you can go start a fitness account where you're just you being super fit and whatever. If you're an attractive woman, you can go start an Insta page where you just put up scantily clad photos of yourself and you'll get a bunch of likes. That is fine. But if you are respectful in what you want in life, you'll get the right kind of people. If you, it's like a lot of people's girlfriends are a lot different than their friends, right? Do you want your friend's girlfriend, do you want to like her? Well, I hope that like you don't really like your friend's girlfriend, because when you're in a relationship, you should be seeking something that's different than the people you hang out with, right? If you go out all the time and go to the bars and you find and you're like, wow, I keep dating all these people. They're like, all they care about is like hookups and I just want like someone that's real. Maybe you need to go somewhere where you haven't been before, right? Maybe if you're in the same scenario as someone else, you're going to find people that think very similarly. And sometimes you want that, but I feel like almost opposites attract in a sense where you want someone that's not like you because like you're already you. Do you really want to be around yourself all the time? And as we're getting ready to end this podcast, I want to thank you to listening to the first episode. I hope you gained some insight. I hope you continue to listen. I hope you like, rate 5 stars and subscribe. And I hope you all remember that D's get degrees and A's are for assholes. And have a great rest of your day and play us out, Seal.
evolutionary process going on. But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working